Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen are the pairs we'll be analyzing today, so make sure you stay to the end of the video as well, because I do have a bonus pair in store. I will run through my positions from the week first, and then we'll discuss the analysis shortly after. So if there is a particular pair you do want to see my analysis to, feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps below. But I had two trades this week. I had three, I took two trades this week, but I was holding a Euro Aussie trade for the past couple of weeks, which I was taken out of this week for roughly 1 hour in profit. I trailed my stop loss to around here. That is an awful line. My stop loss was around here, which was around 1 hour in profit. And we did see price come and take me out on Monday, pretty early on in the week. So yeah, it was taking out 1 hour profit. I did expect more downside for Euro Aussie back to the low here, still do. However, conditions have changed since I entered the market. We were seeing some really nice momentum, trending quite well. And then after I got into the market, we became quite corrective. So when we're doing that, I'm no longer expecting the trend to continue for a prolonged amount of time. So I don't really mind getting trailed out here of Euro Aussie because the conditions have changed and we're no longer trending quite well, but did get out of that trade eventually after almost 2 weeks. I did get into a Aussie dollar long position on a nice breaking retest of this daily zone over here, which is basically the setup I was talking about coming into the week. I said if we can get a retest of the high here, we'll be looking at long opportunities to take Aussie dollar back to the upside. So this was my entry. Nice wick into the zone, nice shift in momentum. Did see a bit of upside, however, failed to get the continuation of that move, of that momentum, and price later went and broke through the level, and of course took my stop loss with it. And then on Friday, I hopped into some Euro USD long positions on a retest of prior resistance here, turn support, basically the opportunity I was discussing on the last weekly analysis. And my entry was after this hourly candle here. So I'm holding that over the weekend. My stop loss is at break even. I am looking to trail as well. I do think there's a good chance for us coming back to the high. So we'll see what we can do at that high there, if we get there, of course. But I'm still expecting a lot more upside for Euro USD. So holding that position over the weekend. And of course, we'll update next analysis. But before we kick things off with the analysis, we'll look at DXY very quickly. I'm still bearish on the DXY, discussed this one last week, still looking for the impulse correction, impulse pattern. So for me, really nice momentum to the downside, now pretty corrective. So I do think we have a good chance of now seeing some follow through to the downside again, back into the recent low. We came up to some nice confluence here, a bunch of rejections on that trend line, and we're holding that support, term resistance as well. So looking for some follow through to the downside. So my kind of short term, medium-term bias for DXY going forward is bearish. So taking that information into Euro USD, another reason why I'm long. Expecting downside for the DXY, expecting the inverse for Euro, of course. And the confluence is very, very similar. You can see the trend line of a similar nature to the DXY, and also retesting some resistance and support here as well. So if you're looking to get involved with Euro, I would wait to see if we can come back and retest this level of support, then look for opportunities on that level. Of course, I'll be taking out break even, but as long as we're holding that level, I will be looking at opportunities to long Euro USD still. If we crack through, lose the confluence, then of course I'll sit tight, see what happens next. But I am still expecting upside back to that swing high next week. So if you're looking at Euro USD, keep an eye on this zone here, 1.08242. Should we get back there, look for some entries, and again, still looking for a push back to the high. Okay, so next up we've got dollar yen. So dollar yen, still looking for buying opportunities, still do have a pretty healthy trend on our hands here. We've got the wick high, which price could be slowly working its way towards. Again, I'm looking at break and retest of this high for an opportunity to long. However, I do need to see more follow through with this up move, some more conviction, some more momentum, clear it by a bigger distance to really tell me that, okay, the trend's back alive again, and we're not going to just kind of mess around here and sell off and have a bit of a fake out. So I want to see a bit more conviction to the upside, then I'll be interested in long opportunities. Or should we push back down, I do like the low here, and I also do like 152. It's a pretty big level down at this low here as well. But either which way for dollar yen, I'm only focused on the long opportunities, since we still do have all the major time frames still pointing up, weekly, monthly, daily chart, all showing good signs of momentum and all showing a healthy trend with higher highs and higher lows. So as a swing trader, I'm always going to be looking for that to continue rather than go against it. And the areas where my attention is focused at are these three areas in particular. Should we roll over, then I'm looking at these two. If we're going to break high and see a bit more momentum, then I'm looking for the retest of the high here at 156.782, the low there at 153.686, and 152.183. And slowly I'm expecting us to push back into the high there, as we've seen with numerous other yen pairs, but still expecting more upside next week for dollar yen. Okay, so now over to dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, I'm looking at selling opportunities. Right now, I'm not really interested in price with dollar CAD because this price action here can be seen as consolidation, to be honest, or like a descending channel, if you will. So there's the trend line, equal lows at the support level. Either which way, the market is kind of moving sideways, but we are slowly but surely putting in these lower highs as well. So what I'm looking for dollar CAD is a break of this support, a retest, and then continuations. And the retest of that level is where I'm looking for my opportunity, where I'm looking for my entries to take price low. Because essentially, if the market was going to go bullish, I would expect us to show a lot more upside momentum by now, taking up the highs. The fact that we keep bouncing off the level, but we just keep printing lower highs, does not give me a lot of confidence that this trend wants to continue. And most likely we're going to reverse. And if my analysis is correct, or if we do see my DXY bias come through, play out, then we're most likely going to see more downside on USD CAD as well. So wait and see if we can get a break of the low, really just break away from that range. Don't really want to be trading inside here. But if we do break through, it will leave behind a fresh level of resistance for us to short from, 1.36 roughly, and then I'll be expecting a lot more downside. We could be looking at a bunch of these lows here as targets, depending how far you want to push the trade. But for me, I'm still particularly bearish, waiting for a break of 1.36, and then we'll be looking at shorts for the rest of the week for USD CAD. Okay, so over to Euro Pounds. Euro Pound, again, chart is not clear. We're seeing an overall consolidation for a while now, so it's definitely not a market that piques my interest. But if you are looking at Euro Pound, I have been talking about this level of resistance for a while. Looks like we've had a couple fake outs above that area now. So this being the first one, this being the second one, and now I'm looking for price to come back and retest that area, form the next lower high in comparison to those previous highs. One over here, second over there, looking for the third one to retest that level. And this to me looks like a smart place for an entry and for a stop loss as well. Anywhere else in terms of sales doesn't really make too much sense. There is a really big level of support here, which looks like price is cracking through and retesting now. But I wouldn't want to take a trade here because my stop loss is quite vulnerable since we're kind of in the middle of the consolidation. If we kind of look at the consolidation like this, we're kind of in the middle or even slightly to the lower end, which is not great either. We want to be kind of high up as possible and testing solid resistance. That's where we kind of want to be shorting from. So I would kind of ignore this place for a short, even though yes, it's a strong level of support. You would expect it to hold as resistance. But in terms of the location and the context of the market, I do want to be a lot higher up. And this for me is still a really nice zone. Should we get there, see the next lower high, and possibly see some more follow through to the downside. So Euro Pound, I'll still keep an eye on 0.858. Would have to be a pretty big retracement for us to get there in the first place. But unless you're going to be looking for buying opportunities as we approach support, which do make sense, I would only be looking for price to come a lot higher before I do start selling. And that area would be around 0.858 for next week. So still looking more downside for Euro Pound, but I do need to see some upside back into level support, level resistance, to then short for next week. But still expecting more downside for Euro Pound. Okay, so over to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, as I said, we've broken back inside the range now. The level of resistance did not hold as support. This could be a fake move back inside potentially, but As of right now, we haven't done that yet. For me to be looking for buys again for Aussie dollar, I need to see a confident break back above this resistance. Now I'll be looking for opportunities on the retest of the level, or maybe the retest of the high over here, depending how big the break is. But at this moment in time, the market is closing and is trading back inside the range here. So if you're looking at opportunities for Aussie dollar, because we have such a big level of resistance here, and that could just be another fake out, if we do hold this level here at 0.664, this to me is a really nice place for a short. It does go against my bias for Aussie dollar, because shorting Aussie dollar kind of favors dollar strength. But at the end of the day, we have to trade the chart we're looking to trade. If you're looking to trade Aussie dollar, I'm not looking to trade it next week, because when price is in a range, I tend to stay away. This for me is no man's land. I want to be taking opportunities outside the range. So that's where my focus is. But if you are looking at Aussie dollar, then for me, this is a massive level. And if this is just another fake out to the upside, then you would expect to see some follow through to the downside. Since we've taken out some stop losses here, you would expect to see some follow through to the downside if this is a fake out. So I'm looking for price to now hold this as resistance and then see a lot more downside. So that will be a great place for some entries, a great place for some shorts. Like I said, should we break back outside, then the buys are back on. Until that happens, sells make the most sense as we approach this level of resistance. So I would keep a close eye on 0.664, strong level resistance, looking for opportunities in that area, and could be looking at a move back down to the low of the range around 0.648 for next week. Okay, so over to NZD CAD. So NZD CAD I'm bullish on, looking for buying opportunities. We've seen some really nice momentum to the upside the past few days, and I'm looking to follow that momentum as well after a bigger pullback. If I jump to the daily chart, you can see a really nice move there, breaking through the high here. This is our last lower high in the market, which gave us this low, which we haven't broken through just yet. But it would be nice if we can see a candle closure above. That would really just increase the probabilities of a successful pullback. Should we see one, but if we can get a candle closure above that, that would be fantastic. But essentially what I'm looking at for NZD CAD is a pullback into this area here of prior resistance. We broke through, never had a retest, I believe. No retest of that level as well, so it would be fantastic if we can come back and retest this high here around 0.825, and from there we're expecting a higher low to form and a lot more upside back to the high at least. So NZD CAD, to me, this looks like a really good opportunity, but will we get there next week? Not too sure. Be quite a big move for us to get there, so it could take some time to build up. Could get there next week, who knows? But all I do know is that this level which I would want to long from. Anything else not looking too good. Shorts do look okay coming back into the high. I can understand looking for shorts back at the high there, anticipating a retracement, anticipating move down. But for me, I want to flow that momentum. We've seen a big shift in momentum to the bullish side of things. So now I'm looking for a pullback and expecting more upside for next week. So hopefully you can see a retest of that level, and I'll be looking to take NZD CAD back to the highs next week. Okay, so over to pound NZD. So pound NZD I am bearish on. We've had a major level of resistance which price tried to break through and it failed. We had a few attempts above it. Now we're trading back below that area. So I am looking at pound NZD pushing back into the low here around 2.0411. We have broken through support here as well. Price was ranging between this high and this low. We've now snapped through, and as you can see, we are holding as resistance. So I'm looking at two opportunities on pound NZD, either a retest of that same level or a retest of the low should we see a nice break. It really does depend on the break. If it's kind of corrective and doesn't do it by much, then I would not look at that break and retest and ignore it. If we have some nice follow through, we clear it by a good amount of distance, then I'll be looking at a retest of that low for some shorts back into the daily support I was just talking about. And equally, this looks like a good opportunity as well. The only thing is it's been quite choppy and I don't really like how price is moving. So my preferred opportunity would be a strong break of the low and the pullback. But again, it does depend on the characteristics of the breakout. So I wouldn't just look for the breakout straight away, but if things look good, then we could find a nice entry on the retest of that area. But in terms of my bias, I'm looking at downside. We've got a lot of confidence favoring that, the failure to break the highs, consolidation strong break to the downside, and now putting in some lower highs. So essentially looking for that to continue. As long as we don't break above this resistance here, there's a good chance we do roll over back to 2.04. So keep an eye on the retest of 2.087 and also 2.067 for next week, but still expecting more downside for pound NZD. Okay, so over to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen still bullish on this one. We can all see a really confident uptrend still in play here. So again, generally looking for swings that favor that direction. In terms of targets, we've got the wick high there, but also we'll keep tabs on the body here around 115.865. Generally speaking, this is going to be our resistance, and looking to target those areas as we continue to look for buy opportunities. At the moment, we're kind of stuck at resistance here, although it looks like we're trying to break through there as we closed for Friday, but I wouldn't say we've got a clean break just yet. So if we can really see price push through that, then in turn this could be a really nice place for a support level for some long opportunities. Again, just looking to capitalize on the next higher low and follow the momentum, follow the trend. You can see the previous higher lows price is putting in here. This could be another one there, and then you could be looking to capitalize on another one on the retest of that level. Or if we do have a deeper pullback, again, looking for the retest of this low or this low here as well, should we see pullbacks that deep. Again, the yen pairs can be quite chaotic, especially in these times as well. So a pullback this big wouldn't really surprise me for the yen pairs. So I would keep tabs on that, although it does seem pretty far away. I think the more realistic opportunity would be the break and retest of 114.900, 800, sorry. But I would still keep tabs on those levels further down. But yeah, CAD Yen still very bullish, looking at buying opportunities. Let's see if we can get a nice break of that level. Then looking for a retest back into the high around 115.865. Okay, so over to pound USD. So pound USD still looking at a lot more upside. Again, I'm still looking at this pair as we trade in a large range, and we've had recently a big fade to the downside, which I'm looking at this move to be that big fake out. So I'm expecting follow through back to the high of the range, which is roughly around 1.28, and that's where I'm expecting price to end up at before maybe you could see price roll over or maybe even break again to the upside as well. But for now, still looking at more upside. But pound USD has been quite difficult. We've seen some minor pullbacks on the lower time frame, so intraday opportunities look good. If you're looking for a bit bigger of a swing, then this high for me still looks like a really good place for a long opportunity should we see the retest. There is a world where you kind of just push up and not see that pullback. If that's the case, that's the case. But should we have that pullback, then I like this level a lot. We broke through great momentum, no retest as well. So this to me looks like a really good place for some long opportunities should we get there. And again, targets back to 1.28 looks good, or if we do roll over from here, then even the push back to that high makes a lot of sense as well. And I also want to highlight the low of the range as well. Should we get there around 1.25, that for me is also a really nice place for a long. But in terms of direction, favoring upsides, again, if my bias in the DXY plays out, we probably will see continuations to the upside for pound USD as well. So got some good confluence there, just need to find a good entry, got some good levels down there should we get there. But yeah, looking for buying opportunities, expecting to move back to 1.28 next week. Okay, so now on to pound CAD. So pound CAD, we've had a very impressive move to the upside this week. Again, overall, pound CAD is still very much a bullish market, maybe more so now, but we have been printing in those higher lows, and overall there is a slight up trajectory to this market, even though it's very, very slight, but we do have somewhat of an uptrend, so still favoring buying opportunities. We have seen price take out the highs now very aggressively. It has left behind some really nice levels of prior resistance turn support. This was the level I was talking about last week, looking for a long on this area. Now that we have seen a big follow through, should we get there, I do like the longs, and again looking for continuation to the upside. Higher low, looking for the next one down at that level there. It's just a little bit far, so there's a pretty good chance even if we do see a pullback, it may be for next week, for the week after rather than next week, because it probably will take us a while to get down there in the first place. I mean, we last spoke about pound CAD over here. It took us a week to get up here. Might even take us a week to get back down first. So it definitely is a good opportunity. I like it. It favors higher time frames. We've seen a really nice breakout. Got a good level to retest to anticipate another high low forming. So it looks really, really good. It just might take a while to form. Even if it does form, you may just keep going. But I like 1.723 for pound CAD. Let's wait for a pullback and still expecting more upside going forward. Okay, so over to pound yen. So pound yen still very bullish on. Again, confident uptrend as we can all see. We do have the wick high here, which probably where price is heading towards. There would be a lot of liquidity above the high here. There's a good chance we kind of just keep pushing without a bigger pullback, which is what I'm after. So maybe intraday is probably the best way to trade this. You come back into structure over here, higher low, continuation. That could be a really nice opportunity early on in the week, Monday, Tuesday. As long as we don't break structure, then you're kind of expecting this intraday structure to continue. Should we break structure and start taking out some lows, then that's when I expect a bigger pullback to happen and maybe a retest of the high, which is where I'm looking to trade pound yen from. And yeah, that for me is my number one opportunity. Is just looking at where the market is. I know the market's probably going to be drawn to the high there. It's going to take a big ask for the market to come all the way down first before taking out that high, rather than just pushing up higher. So I'm going to be ready on the sidelines, waiting to see if we get that move. If we don't, we don't. There's other pairs I'm looking at, but yeah, pound yen still very bullish on. Higher time frames are very bullish. Good chance of us taking out that wick. So hopefully we can get pulled back until 196, 197 we'll call it. But yeah, still expecting a lot more upside for pound yen next week. Okay, so over to gold. I'm still pretty bullish on gold, as we can see. Very confident uptrend still at play. The only gray area with gold is the fact that we've taken out the high here so aggressively, just to come down pretty hard, which is not a great sign. Still looking at this as a pullback for gold to go higher, but of course it's not your textbook everyday pullback. Since how impulsive it was, not a really good sign. I would expect gold to kind of consolidate, maybe develop before we do see that big push up. So for me, the only logical, the only significant area where I would like to place my entries and the stop loss around would be this low here. There are some minor areas which price is respecting at the moment, but it's nothing that piques my interest, nothing significant enough for me to warrant a trade. Yes, we might bounce here, but I've got a strong feeling that price is probably going to break that area eventually, with a bit more of a complex pullback. Since this is such a sharp move, I'm expecting retracement and some follow through at some point. So I'm looking at this low here, and this low is very, very pivotal because this is the low that gave us the high. So effectively, you don't really want to see gold break that low. If it does, we might be seeing a lot more downside. So for me, that's a really nice place for a long, because I would expect gold to hold that if we are going to continue bullish. So for me, I'll be keeping a close eye on 2282, 2282, 2281. Buys around here, stop loss below the low look good, and risk to reward looks really good as well should we get pushed back to the high. And I'm still very bullish in gold. I still think we can go higher. There's a big psychological level here around 2500, which could be a big draw on price as well. So I'm still liking gold to the upside, but I'm expecting a bit more of a complex pullback since how aggressively we fell here. So yeah, still looking at buys, still looking at more upside, but expecting a deeper pullback before we do get that follow through. Okay, so over to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we are still trapped inside this consolidation. We've had a lot of momentum over the past few days here, as we can see, which I wasn't really expecting. So kudos to Bitcoin, but again, we haven't really broken through any area of importance just yet. We have taken out this high here, which is a good start, but I want to see some more follow through. I want to see this momentum sustain as well. And of course, we've got the big high there at 74K. Should we really break through that, we could be really in town, because Bitcoin, again, for me, I'm looking at this as a massive impulse, correction impulse as well. We haven't really come down. It's kind of been a sideways correction. So if that's the case, I'm expecting to see something like this sooner or later. In terms of opportunities to trade it, If you're looking intraday, then you're kind of just looking at pullbacks, and as we approach areas of support and demand, looking for buy opportunities down there. If you're looking for the high time frames, then effectively you want to see price break the high and look for opportunities to ride that momentum on some pullbacks, because with Bitcoin, we're probably just going to mess around here for forever, how long price wants to. But essentially, when we get the breakout, that's a sign that, okay, it's either having a fake out or it's the real deal, and price is going to run to the upside. So those are the opportunities where buying will look really good if we can get the breakout above. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. For me, I don't really want to be trading inside that range. It's a bit more 50-50 for my liking, but above that, things become a lot clearer, and we could be seeing price have its next kind of real big move, something like this, above that high. So that could be very interesting. So keep an eye around 74k should we break it. But in here, this is still consolidation, so I'm not reading too much into price action here, but I would like it if that momentum can continue. So that's the plan going into next week for Bitcoin. Okay, so last but not least, we've got a bonus pair, which is silver. So silver, I'm still very bullish on. I'm looking for more upside. Again, I like looking at silver and gold because, again, they're very correlated. And I do have a bullish bias for both of them. Silver looks a lot cleaner, so that's why I'm focusing on silver a lot more going into next week. I'll still keep an eye on gold because I do like the level I was mentioning earlier, but silver to me has got the best conditions because we've had a really nice trend, pullback, nice trend again, pullback. So very textbook stuff here with silver. Really nice high, broke through, great momentum, never had the retest. So this level here is nice and fresh for a retest, and looking for a bounce to the upside. Expecting price to eventually hit the swing high and go a lot further as well. I think silver's got a lot of catching up to do in relation to gold, but for me this is a really nice trend. Conditions are good, high time frames are bullish with gold, with silver, and gold too. So there's a lot of boxes being ticked here with silver's price action, silver's conditions, and I like the retracement as well. It's not as heavy as gold. Gold will really spew to the downside. Did see a bit of momentum here, but it's kind of fizzled out and will become a bit more corrected now, which is always a good sign, which is always what you want to see with a pullback. So yeah, keeping a close eye around 29.6, 29.8. It's a pretty big zone, but that's generally where I'm looking for longs. And yeah, looking for a bounce to the upside for silver. So this one will be on the watch list. I'll definitely keep a close eye on it. But that, guys, does bring us to the end of the analysis. If you have enjoyed it, have found it useful, educational, informative, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And make sure you hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. By the way, guys, please have a good, well-rested weekend. Look out for the streams next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every single day. So hope to see you guys there. But besides from that, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.